here, but before we do evidence in 29, we go next door on a civil pretrial.
Okay.
That lady just drove in from
Okay.
Michigan, so.
Okay.
And that group will know where it's less of a
Ready then, George?
Everyone line up, please.
Not dominant, but also used.
Meaning? I don't have any salmon colored blazers.
I'll rise for the jury.
Amanda.
I'll get it. Court is in session. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I don't imagine anybody was frolicking outside at lunchtime today, were you? Everyone go out there now. It's terrible. But that's the advantage, particularly for a sports team, when they have a field that, unlike you and I, when they walk out there, they have a machine that sucks out all the water and it's perfectly playable. So I think many of us have that advantage. We're going to continue with testimony, but I do want to tell you, I would anticipate that on Monday we'll have all the evidence, have the jury charge, and be able to go to deliberations. Okay, so if you're wondering about time schedule and all that, I think that Monday will be the day. Okay? Would you have to state?
Thank you, Judge. Judge, the State of Ohio calls Michele Radovanic.
Ma'am, if you approach, raise your right hand, please. Do solemnly swear or affirm, subject to the penalties of perjury, that the testimony you're about to give here will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please be seated. Mr. Radovanic, if you're soft-spoken,
Usually.
then use that voice.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm going to be asking questions, so will defense counsel. If you don't understand someone's question, tell us and we'll put an understandable question to you, all right? And I need you to stay right on top of that mic.
Okay.
If you can adjust it and speak loud and clear, please.
Yes.
Would you state and spell your name, please?
Michele Radovanic, Michele Radovanic.
And ma'am, do you pursue a healthcare profession?
Yes.
What is your occupation?
I'm a registered nurse.
Okay. Do you practice in addiction medicine?
I do.
How long have you been in that field?
About 15 years.
Have you ever worked with Dr. Richard DeFranco?
I have
For what period of time?
over the last 10 years.
Fair to say you know him well?
Yes.
Have you worked with him at CAAA, Community Action Against Addiction, at Euclid and East 55th Street in the city of Cleveland, Ohio?
Yes.
And were you working there during 2016?
Yes.
As a RN in that methadone clinic, what would your direct role be in patient care delivery, if you will?
When the clients came in and they were brand new, I did all the physicals, all the EKGs, lab work, got their assessment done for the physician. Then they got to come back, or that same day if he was there, they would see him. And then I did follow-up care. So they would come back if they were having any problems with the methadone to get an increase or decrease on follow-up care. And then if he wasn't there, I would see them and call him, get orders, again for the same thing, if there was some kind of difficulty.
We have previously seen video of the walk-in first floor dose administration area. What do you call that?
The dosing area?
Okay, dosing area. Is that where you would work?
No.
Where would you be working?
I was up, it's a very old building, so there was a floor, a couple of stairs down, a couple stairs back up, and I was on the first floor on the right side of the building. Maybe the second floor, they would consider it then.
So if someone is admitted to the program at CAAA, how frequently on an ordinary course of business would you see them or review their status, if you would?
We would see them initially, the first day, and then they could come back every week thereafter until they were stabilized. Or if they were just long-time clients that were there even before me, they would come in whenever they had a problem or they wanted some take-homes because they were going out of town or something. So thereafter would just be as needed.
And you use the term stabilized. What does that mean to you as an RN working in a methadone clinic?
Well, stabilized where they're not requesting an increase or a decrease. I can't say stabilized means that they're not using. I'm saying stabilized to their point where they don't come to the doctor and ask for any increases or decreases.
Would it be fair to say that if we see a period of time with no dose change, and it's somewhat extended, let's say,
Yes.
and the dose remains the same dose,
Yes.
would that be a period of so-called stabilization?
Yes.
If we see doses going up or down, what would that mean to you?
That the client feels that they're unstable.
So the client...
Or, I'm sorry, they could be decreased and be stable. So if they come in and they say, I'm ready to get off of this, can we slowly do a detox? So decrease, they could still be stable.
And are you familiar with the term taper?
Yes.
In this setting, what does it mean?
A client is not following program rules, or they're using, again, not following program rules. So they would be put on a taper. He usually did it 5 milligram increments over 4 days at a time. They could vary a little bit, 3 milligrams over 5 days. But it would be an automatic taper. The computer already had it, so they didn't need to keep coming back to get the dose decreased. He had it in as a taper.
If the patient comes in without a prearranged appointment to see yourself or the doctor, let's say we're just on the first floor at the dosing window, and if patient reports, I feel unwell, I need a dose change, and they say that to the person behind the window, what would happen in the ordinary course of treatment as to how would that get communicated to the doctor?
Usually, if the client would say that, they would not go to the dosing window first. They knew by then, after their first or second visit, they would just automatically come to us. They usually did not have scheduled appointments. And prior to me starting there, they did not have scheduled appointments. They just walked in, saw the doc, said that they wanted an increase. We did get it to the point that we were asking for appointments, so they would come directly to us or to their counselor and say, I'm not feeling well. And then the counselor would call us and say, can you squeeze a man or her in right now to get an adjustment done?
So if a patient were to appear in front of yourself and say, I think I need a dose increase, you just stop right there with the verbal request and say, okay, I'll have the doctor write the order and that's it? Or is there a physical or an update involved?
So I would see them, do their vitals, get pretty much the history and stuff to make it a little faster for the doc, but then he would physically, they would go into his office and he would do the adjustment and put the order in himself as long as he was in the building.
Okay. Are you, or were you, in 2016 at CAAA, were you as the RN able to input a dose change order?
Yes.
How would that happen?
if Dr. DeFranco was on vacation or off that day, and I needed to call him, he would give me a verbal order over the phone, and then in the computer, I can punch it in, and it would, under his name, and it would go through.
All right, so, but it's not your independent authority. You're communicating with the physician. You're acting on his orders.
Correct.
Okay. And you said you would punch it into the computer, and then is the system there capable of showing a patient medication order?
Yes.
On paper?
Yes.
Okay. And have you seen those before?
Yes.
Now, if a patient were to, under this scenario that we're discussing, ask for a dose increase, and let's say sees Dr. DeFranco, and Dr. DeFranco agrees and writes the patient medication order for the dose increase, that's based on a self-report of, I feel under-medicated?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm experiencing symptoms.
Yes.
What would those symptoms be?
Usually nausea, vomiting, sweating, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, flu-like symptoms.
So the patient is in essence asking, relieve me of those symptoms
Yes.
by increasing the medication, the methadone.
Correct.
Okay. And how long, in your experience, does it then take a dose increase? Well, let's strike it. Let me back up a little bit. What are the typical dose increase steps under this scenario by milligrams? What would you expect to see under that scenario?
Any physician that works in the methadone clinic can do whatever they want. They are a physician, they can do 1 milligram up to 10. Dr. DeFranco regularly did 10 milligrams.
So in a one-step increase is 10, your understanding of the maximum dose increase?
Correct.
So returning again to my chain of questioning, if the patient has said, I feel unwell, I request a dose increase, doctor agrees, the order is written, would it be expected that the patient would then go on to miss 2 days of dosing after that order for an increase?
No.
Why not?
Well, they're having difficulties. They would want their methadone.
So let's assume for this discussion that patient complaint or presentation that I'm feeling unwell, I'm feeling symptomatic, I need a dose increase is true, and we're not arguing with that scenario.
Correct.
They get and receive a order for an increase, but then don't receive it. What would you expect to be happening during those 2 missed days?
Objection.
Sustained.
The statement that I'm unwell, I'm experiencing symptoms, are those symptoms going to abate of themselves without a narcotic?
Objection.
Sustained. She's not an expert.
I understand.
You're asking her to speculate.
Okay. In a patient medication order, the following symbols, can you interpret them for me, please? The plus symbol, capital W, / capital D.
Positive withdrawal.
Okay. As an RN in the methadone clinic, if you saw that on a patient medication order, what does that mean to you?
That they're complaining of symptoms of withdrawal from an opiate.
Do you know Josh Gaspar from your work with Dr. DeFranco and your time at CAAA?
I do.
You have had a personal health event that took you away from work for a period of time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're currently receiving medication for an illness yourself, correct?
Correct.
But it's not addiction.
No.
Okay. But did it cause you to miss a period of work during 2016?
Periodic days. I did not miss long-term work.
I'm going to show you some exhibits. 1627 and 1461. So, first turning to 1627, do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
Okay, you can hold it
Oh,
yourself.
okay.
Tell us what that is.
Progress note from a physician,
Okay, what's the title across the top?
patient medication order.
Okay, what's the date of the order?
The date of it is for 9/9, effective 9/10.
Okay. So what does that mean to us as to when, given this scenario of requesting an increase, when would the patient have been before the doctor to get this order written?
So the increase can happen either that day or it would happen the next day. If somebody doses that day, the computer system does not allow them to be dosed again. So if that person was dosed, he or she could not get the dose till the following day. So the order was written on the 9th. The computer is automatically picking it up to start on 9/10.
Okay.
And the computer automatically will put that in.
And who wrote this order?
Dr. DeFranco,
Okay. Who's the patient?
Joshua Gaspar.
And do you see Mr. Gaspar in court here today?
I do.
Could you point to him and describe what he's wearing?
Court will accept the stipulation that this witness is familiar with the defendant.
Okay. Now, turning to States 1461, I want to relate the date of September 9th to this first page that you see before you. And orient yourself in the left column. Are you familiar with this printout?
Yes.
I mean, not this exact one necessarily, but this format.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is 1461?
It's the medication history on a client that goes to the agency.
Okay. So, turning your attention to September 9th, 2016, is there a record of a dose administration that day?
Yes.
What is it?
He received 60 milligrams of methadone.
Okay. And then September 10th, 2016, what does the dose history indicate?
He did not receive any.
September 11th, 2016.
He did not receive any.
Okay. When is the first time he receives the newly written increased dose of 70 milligrams?
9/12/16.
Okay. Does he then, is there indication on that dose history that he reported on the 12th and received the dose?
Yes.
What time?
9:58 a.m.
Okay. And that's on the 12th, correct? So same set of questions for the 13th. Is the new dose of 70 administered on the 13th?
Correct.
At what time?
10:52.
Same question for the 14th. Is the new dose of 70 administered on the 14th?
Yes, at 2:07 p.m.
Okay. Turning to the 15th. Is the new dose of 70 administered?
Yes, 12:34 p.m.
You're familiar with how Euclid Avenue has changed its design through the city of Cleveland and RTA. They created a center bus median strip or barrier, right? Was that in place in September of 2016?
Yes.
Prior to that, you could come out of CAAA and make a left turn and go to the intersection of 55th and turn left to go north?
I have not since I worked there. I started in January.
Okay, so the median was in place when you started there?
Correct.
Okay. From your own personal knowledge, if you were to leave the driveway of CAAA, and generally speaking, for everyone's understanding, CAAA sits on the north side of Euclid, so you'd be heading out of the parking lot south. 55th would be to your left, which was east, okay? But if this median is there, were you able to make a left turn directly out of the driveway?
No.
Okay. So from your own personal experience, what path would you take if you wanted to leave CAAA make the mandatory right turn, but still proceed north on 55th to join I-90 or the Shoreway?
You would have to make a right onto Euclid, go down to, I went down to 40th and made a right. Then I would make, after I went down that road, I would make another right till I go back down to the end of where 55th is, and that's where I would turn again.
Have you had occasion in your own personal experience to leave CAAA midday, 12 to 1 p.m. in Monday through Friday traffic conditions?
Yes.
What's your personal experience of typical or average midday traffic conditions at that location?
Moderate.
Okay.
Not super heavy, not light.
So not 5 o'clock rush hour,
Correct.
not 3 a.m., no traffic in sight.
Correct.
Okay. From your memory, how many lights, traffic lights, would you encounter making the mandatory right, but your objective is to go rejoin 55th and head north to join the Shoreway?
5. 4 to 5.
Okay. From your personal experience, can you tell us how long it would take you in midday weekday traffic to leave CAAA and just get from CAAA using the 55th North route? How long just to get to 90?
Objection.
About 12 to 14 minutes, roughly.
With moderate conditions and whether or not you hit greens or reds?
Correct. You got people walking in the road, the post office trucks right there.
And then, have you ever personally traveled from CAAA to go to somewhere west of Cleveland, another state?
Yes, every Friday, or just about every Friday, I drove to Wisconsin.
Okay. What time would you leave to CAAA?
Between 1 and 2:30.
Would that still be within the moderate traffic conditions that you're describing from your experience?
Yes.
So, using the route that you just described for us, the mandatory right, which would take you west, but then either go around the block and rejoin 55th. Another option, could you go down to 40th and then go north to the Shoreway?
You can go north on it, but I don't know the next street. My GPS would kind of take me if I had to go that way. But you can go on north on 40th.
So, are you a speeder?
Sometimes.
Okay. Have you done this route and observed the speed laws going west?
Yes, because you can't go fast enough with all the lights and all the people walking in the road right in downtown area of those before getting on the freeway.
Are you familiar with the west side Cleveland exits beginning into the Lakewood exits? For example, McKinley Avenue,
No.
Hilliard?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
My name's John Sin. We met outside.
Yes.
Let me ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
Your idea of moderate might be different than my idea of moderate.
Correct.
Okay. My office is in Akron. I think everything around here is heavy traffic. But maybe you don't. Maybe downtown Cleveland's not that crazy to you. So you'd agree that maybe we have different ideas of moderate?
Of course.
Okay. Now, it takes you a certain amount of time to get to a certain place, right?
Correct.
And that's depend on whether you catch the lights and whether or not people step out in front of you, how fast you drive.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any idea about whether or not Josh drives exactly like you do?
Oh, no.
Do you know if he takes the same route you do?
No.
Or do you know if he catches the same lights you do?
No.
Okay. So safe to say that a lot of different factors come into play with determining how fast it takes one person to get someplace as opposed to how fast it takes another person.
Absolutely.
Right. Did you ever have a situation where you and somebody else are going to the same place and you both leave at the same time, and yet one person gets there way before the other one,
Yes.
and you go, hey, how'd you get here? Oh, I took the back way. We've all seen that, right?
Right.
Okay. So do you have any personal knowledge about Josh or what route he took that day?
No.
Okay. You've been a nurse in methadone clinics for a while?
For methadone, only for 1 year. I've been in Suboxone outpatient, which is the other alternative.
Okay. These programs, you feel they help people?
Yes.
Okay. You think it's a good way to deal with folks who are involved in this epidemic we're having?
For methadone or Suboxone.
Both.
I do have mixed feelings about it.
Okay.
I do think that we do need to help them.
Okay. But maybe some people abuse it.
Absolutely.
Do you ever have any feeling that Josh gave up any of those indicators to you?
Prior to me getting sick in the very beginning of July,
Yeah.
I thought he was doing very well.
Thank you. Now, 70 milligrams, could you put that into perspective for us as far as the patients that you saw? How many patients do you think you would see during the year, during a day?
We saw on an up to 30 a day.
How many do you think you saw the whole year you were there?
In a whole year?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, we have 700 patients there, or they have 700 patients now.
Is there a dose that's you would say is where most people are? Is there like a typical dose where you say, boy, most of the people we have are on this dose?
I would say 70 to 100.
Okay. So this doesn't seem like an extremely high dose for your clinic, does it?
No.
Is there anything about the doctor going up 10 milligrams or down 10 milligrams that causes you any concern about the doctor's orders?
No.
Okay. You left the clinic driving a lot, right? You drive to the clinic and drive out.
Yeah.
Did you park in the same place as some of the patients?
We parked on the right side of the building, they parked on the left.
Sometimes you would leave at the same time as the patient was leaving?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And that patient may have just taken their methadone?
Correct.
Do you have any concern for your safety driving on the roads with these people who had taken the methadone?
Yes.
Okay. What was your concern?
I mean, our urine drug screens proved that we did about 70% of them were dirty.
Okay. But for folks who aren't abusing drugs, who are just on the methadone, did you give them any warning that they shouldn't drive just on the methadone?
Oh, always when I first saw them.
Okay.
But just that first visit, I did not administer the methadone.
Okay. I guess my point is, you knew folks came in, and provided they weren't dirty or using some other drug, the clinic had no policy, and you had no policy of telling people they can't drive on methadone, did you?
I don't believe so.
In fact, that's what patients did. They drove in and they drove out.
Correct.
And
Some received transportation. Right.
so your concern was more with, you're dealing with a population of drug abusers.
No.
Okay. Drug addicts?
No.
No?
The ones that are using are who I was concerned with, that sometimes our dosing girls, the nurses, at the windows were very busy. The lines would be an hour long to get their medication. And sometimes I was concerned that maybe they weren't making sure that the person was okay to drive or okay to receive their methadone that day.
Because of what?
Because they either had used,
Using heroin or they're drinking
Correct.
alcohol.
Right.
Nothing about the methadone, it's about the other things they're doing, right?
correct,
Okay. And you had no concerns with Josh in that?
prior to July when I was there full time, no.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So, but under medication is its own issue, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
If you're going through withdrawal and you're asking for a dose increase, that's its own issue, right?
Correct. Yes, they get very sick.
Okay. And that's separate and apart from whether you're dirty, right?
Correct.
So you can be street drug abstinent, adhering to your methadone, but getting sick and saying, I need more methadone.
Absolutely.
And we talked about plus WD. Does that appear on 1627?
Yes.
In what context?
Under other note,
First
for the
words are...
dose increase because of positive withdrawals.
So If somebody is receiving a dose increase, by definition, are they stabilized?
No.
What was your understanding in the practice at CAAA as to how many doses of the new dose are required before they're considered stabilized? That is to say, without side effect symptoms.
And per the SAMHSA
I'm sorry.
rules, SAMHSA, SAMSHA guidelines, which is for opiate clinics to go by, it is supposed to be 10 milligrams every 7 days.
And Mr. Sin asked you your feelings about whether or not it's, I don't know what adjective to put on it, worthwhile or a social good that we have these programs. And he phrased his question where he was talking about methadone and Suboxone in one group, and you said I have mixed feelings.
Correct.
Where you currently work, what type of program are you in?
Suboxone.
When you left the methadone clinic, did you have professional feelings or opinions about the effectiveness of methadone?
I did, and I did accept a new job 6 months after starting the methadone clinic, and that's when I was diagnosed with cancer, the day that I was supposed to be hired at Lake County Sheriff's Department, and I couldn't take that job because of the diagnosis. So that's why I stayed at the methadone clinic for a full year.
But while you're at CAAA, I mean, would you agree that the goal of methadone treatment is to eventually first stabilize,
Correct.
keep the person away from the street drugs so that they can be functional, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
But then are they supposed to remain on methadone the rest of their lives?
So I did the statistics there monthly also, and that was one of my requirements under my duties. And we had 4 clients that were there for 35 years.
On methadone maintenance for
On
35 years?
methadone maintenance, yes. And several from 20 years plus.
So there's no absolute endpoint to this methadone?
Correct. Some physicians believe that there are and some don't. We all that are in addiction have a little bit different thoughts of it. Doesn't make anybody, I guess, right or wrong.
And Mr. Sin asked you about your concerns of people leaving and driving after receiving methadone. Are you aware of anybody at your clinic being dosed and getting in accidents other than Mr. Gaspar?
Yes.
What do you know about that?
We had a young lady total 2 cars in 1 week.
What else?
We had another young lady who crashed her car on the freeway, left the scene. And
Was that right after leaving the clinic?
The first lady that I was discussing, yes. Her second accident was right after leaving the clinic. The second lady, it did happen later in the evening.
So in your professional experience, is the methadone program as administered at CAAA something you chose to continue to participate in as a professional?
No.
Why do you say that?
People with addiction, 99% of the time, have mental health issues. And if you don't tackle both, the chance of staying clean is pretty slim. And the methadone clinic does not offer any other services. You go there, you get your methadone, and you leave. Where I'm working now and where I've worked at before have always offered both. And it's a dual diagnosis, so you get your mental health and your addiction treated. You need both. They need both.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those folks who crashed their cars, do you know if they were under the influence of any other substances other than methadone?
Yes. One was and one was not.
Okay, one was not. On the one that was not, do you know if the accident she was involved in was caused by the methadone?
I can't say either were caused by methadone.
They
I did not see urine drug screens.
Sometimes accidents just happen, don't they?
No.
What?
There's always a reason why an accident happens. Somebody's not paying attention, driving too fast. I've been in accidents. There's always a reason.
Does it always have to be because that person's impaired on a drug or substance?
No, but impaired, yes. Impaired of texting, impaired of not paying attention, the radio.
Slippery roads?
Slippery roads.
Snow covered?
Correct.
Sun in their eyes?
Absolutely.
Okay. Lots of reasons why people get defender benders, correct?
Oh, yeah.
We can't always say that that's because somebody out there committed a crime, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, after these folks get their doses upped because of the withdrawal symptoms that they're experiencing, how long does it normally take before they experience some relief?
They'll tell you usually, because I always ask them when they come back if they have relief, usually within a half hour.
Okay.
It's a liquid, so it absorbs faster.
Okay. So my client received a dose increase when? On the 12th? The 10th?
The order was written on 9/9, but he did not accept it until 9/12.
Okay. He was dosed on the 12th, right?
Correct.
Dosed on the 13th.
Yes.
Dosed on the 14th.
Yes.
Dosed on the 15th.
Uh-huh.
So we can assume there's a lot of half hours passing on those 4 days, huh?
Right. Well, usually after the first dose is what I meant with the half hour. But yeah, once they're stabilized, it should stay in their system so that they don't have to worry about getting that relief.
Okay, so how long does explain that to me? Methadone has a shelf life and it keeps going in there for a while?
It does, and off the top of my head, I cannot remember what the exact, but I can't say exactly without looking it up again.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
1 second, please, Judge.
Yeah.
Judge,
Yeah.
at this time, the state of Ohio has no further witnesses to offer. We offer our marked exhibits and we rest.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send you home for the day because I'm going to be talking with the attorneys for law. As you know, there were a number of exhibits and some other matters I need to work with them on, okay? But keep in mind, don't discuss this case, don't let anyone discuss the case with you, don't form or express an opinion, no investigation, no media. Do have a great weekend. You're starting later on Monday, all right? So if you are here at 11:15 downstairs on Monday, Mr. Smith will call you up when we're ready. 11:15 downstairs Monday. I know you all want to see the video again, but so bring a lunch, eat something. So because if we start then say 11:30, we're going to go through. All right. So you're getting a little bit of morning off. Make sure that you're well fed, rested, and able to listen to us for an extended time. Okay? So have a great weekend. We appreciate all of your time on this matter.
All rise. Good night. You have a nice weekend. You too. Good night.
Hope you have a good weekend.
You too. Good night. Have a nice weekend. Good night. Good night. Okay. Have a nice evening. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Good evening.
I'm going to ask the attorney to go over the exhibits. Mary and I are going next door to do a civil pretrial. We'll be back. We can argue about those at that time or not.
In what amount of time, Judge?
Pardon?
And how soon will you return?
10 minutes?
Okay.